Harbour in London at sunrise, because we have got 200 entrepreneurs downstairs at our Entrepreneur Dynamics event, where we're going to be sharing exactly what the steps are at every level of business for you to be able to grow. And how do we get from when we're just getting started, like maybe you are right now in a job trying to figure out what's the way to get my first business started. It might be you're in between jobs, or even you've got your first startup going. You might actually be in a large corporation trying to figure out how to be more entrepreneurial. And the whole key is being able to actually control your own cash flow. Like, how do you even get that started? So in this video, I'm not only going to go through what those steps are to get going, but I'm also going to show you examples. We're actually just randomly pick some people in the audience and actually just have a conversation and see how we can very quickly go from a mindset which is like, I don't have anything coming my way, to a mindset which is that there's all this value that's now actually growing within the marketplace that I can tap into. Like what are the key things that allow us to go from one to the other? Do make sure also that you subscribe to this channel, because we are going to be on this incredible journey with this new series that I started, where we ourselves have got our journey towards our IPO. So we've seen the growth going from 10,000 to 100,000 to million to 10 and now $100 million in size. And so whatever size business you're at, whatever you're looking to achieve, the scale at which you're at is just going to be a matter of your level of sophistication at being an entrepreneur. So we're going to see exactly what those steps are through this channel. Drop a link down below to your website if you'd like me to have a look and see what you're up to. Drop a comment down below to say hi, and I'll be sure to reply. And do make sure that as we go through this video, that you're taking your own mental notes about exactly what steps you can be taking along with those entrepreneurs that we're going to be meeting right here in London. So I will leave you with this beautiful view of Chelsea Harbour, and we will see you down in our conference room. Okay, so here we are in London at the moment. Hi everyone, do you guys want to give a big wave to YouTube? Oh, you've got a cheer as well. Okay, great. And I was just sharing with everyone what we are doing on our YouTube channel. We wanted to take an example of someone who might be getting started, where you're like, I'm getting going, but I'm just figuring out like what's the next step I need to be taking to really lift myself to that level. And we're going to do this by volunteer, and I'm recording it as well. So who here would like to volunteer? And your name is?
T-Bone.
T-Bone?
Call me T.
Okay, can we give T-Bone a big round of applause first of all? Thanks everyone. Okay. So first of all, what do you do?
I'm a student at uni.
Oh wow, okay. What are you studying?
Business management and entrepreneurship.
Nice. Which university?
Pearson College, London.
Okay, great.
Quite a small one.
You obviously want to be an entrepreneur, right?
Yep.
Okay. Are you finding it a valuable course at the moment?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So we've got theory.
Hands-on.
Right.
So theory.
Which year are you in at the moment?
First year.
First year. So how old are you?
19.
19 years old. Okay. Would you like to have a situation where you're actually starting in your first business even while you're a student right now, and actually earning money and making all that happen? Like, the big difference of academic and entrepreneur education is academic is when you need to know in order to do. Entrepreneur is when you need to do in order to know, right? Like, it's like all the knowing comes from the doing. You do both at the same time, then you can double the value, right? Would you like that?
Love to.
Would? Okay, awesome. Do you have what's your best idea of what your business would be right now?
Probably the best one is an app. So a few years ago, while I was walking to school, I was getting quite cold, trying to go on my phone. I went to read the news, I invest, I went to see all the stocks and what's going on in the markets. I went to listen to podcasts relevant to what I'm doing, and a bit of music. So if there was an app where you just get your phone out, you press play, put it in your pocket, and it'll give you all that news, it'll read it out to you. It knows what your job is, so it gives you stuff relevant to your job, knows what genre of music you like, and you get down into the nitty gritty. It sees where you work. So if you drive, say, half an hour, it will say, today there's a bit of traffic. He does this route every day. We'll give him an extra X amount of time of podcasts, music, and stuff.
By the way, okay, like in this room, this idea of having like a virtual assistant that can just sort it out for you and just do all this kind of stuff and so on. Hands up, like think about it. Hands up anyone else in this room who's had the same idea, like that would be a nice thing to have. Hands up who's had an idea about something similar. So have a look around the room, right? So you're not alone about having an idea. And remember that whenever you have an idea, it's not your idea. You just happen to tune into a frequency that's out there of basically like, here's an idea. And it's like, so we think, oh, that's my idea, I've got this great idea. But it's not like you're the only one who have it. Other people have it, and there's no question someone at some point will do it. Probably lots of different people will do it as well. But what I'm going to share with you is, remember what I said earlier, if you're just getting started, the last thing you should do is hold on to your best idea, right? So the last thing you should do, and the last thing I'm going to tell you to do, is go do that, right? Not to say one day it might not be a good idea, but all flow happens as a result of trust. And all trust happens as a result of internal trust, which is confidence. So like how confident you are that you've got the resources to make it happen. And also credibility, which is external trust, which is how much are other people confident of you. And when you're getting started, you don't yet have credibility, right? In fact, you don't even have that much confidence either. So you're at a really massive disadvantage of just saying, I'm just going to go start something new, especially if it takes a lot of resources. And what you're talking about is like AI driven, it's like all the big companies already thinking, how do they do that well? So you're up against all of that as well, right? But the fact you're thinking that way is awesome, right? And then the real question is, how do I actually get tuned into the market that actually is going to create flow immediately? So you've done the wealth dynamics test?
Yep.
What did you come out as?
Creator,
right? So Robert, coming with ideas already. Have you done the purpose test? So you know what your big purpose is?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. If you were to be thinking that you were doing something out there that was going to make a huge difference to a certain group of people out there in the world, and perhaps it's kids, students, it might be, adults who are CEOs of companies, it could be, mums at home, it could be, those who are in third world countries who are trying to figure out how to start businesses. Like, if you were to think about where in the world you would love to make the biggest impact, what would it be for you?
Everywhere.
Yeah, we can't board the ocean, right? So we're going to focus down on one particular thing in terms of a particular person. You go, if I could really make a difference there.
I say kind of my generation, I see a lot of them, they spend hours on Netflix, YouTube, Instagram.
Yes.
And that's a good 4, 5, 6 hours of your day gone.
Right.
So I've tried to cut a lot of it out and work that time.
Yeah.
So I'd like to help them, maybe be more productive.
Okay, all right. Would you like to help them in some way to become more entrepreneurial, just like you're getting entrepreneurial at the moment?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, so something along those lines. Here's a question in this room. Who here already has a business, and you might be more at like level 3, level 4 or above, where you already are providing some level of education to teenagers or to students or those who are like young adults? Who's already doing something like that? Gentlemen here, you're doing something with students at the moment? And what level business is yours at the moment?
It's a yellow business.
Yeah, so like maybe 100 plus customers, is that right?
100 plus, yes.
Do you want to stand up for a moment, Justin? Can we give Justin a big round of applause? Yeah, Justin, so what's your company? What do you do right now?
I manage wealth for people
Okay.
In Spain and the UK.
Huh. So this is those who already are investors, or?
Sometimes business owners, often people that are in retirement, at retirement.
Okay, so they're mainly UK based to begin with, or they all from over? They created their wealth here maybe, they built their wealth in some way. You're then helping them to set up their companies in Spain or their properties?
No, we're making sure they retire comfortably.
Okay.
We place their money in institutional fund managers,
Right.
that type of thing.
Okay, and are you doing anything with students at the moment?
Yes, we are. Once or twice a year we go into a school and we teach children the value of money.
Wow, who pays for that?
We give our time for free for that
Right.
process. We take the class. There's a framework created for that.
Yeah.
And the idea is the children understand what money actually means and what everything costs.
What was your motivation to create that program?
I think that Western society is so indebted and debt has become normal in our society, and I think that fundamentally needs to shift, because ultimately how can you make a head start in life if you're drowning in debt?
Yeah, yeah.
And the kids in the schools have no idea of what things cost.
Right. How do you choose which school you go to? When you...
We get selected, so we get a call from the people that run the course, and we're invited into the school, different people from different paths in life, and we effectively take the class.
Oh wow, so who runs the courses? Is it an organisation?
Yes, it's a Canadian setup, and the name of it can't come to me at the moment, but they play this game whereby you choose your life on a picture board, and inevitably the kids want the best life possible, and then they're given a job.
So you're sponsoring that, or you actually fund that to help those kids?
We don't fund it, we're just participants in the framework.
Okay, got it, all right. And would you do more of that if you could do more of that at the moment?
Ideally, I think we would like to see more of it in the schools. We'd like to see it in the curriculum.
Yes.
And financial education across, again, Western society is
Yeah.
particularly weak. So we've committed as a business to doing it as and when needed.
Yes.
And I think the schools recognise the value of it, and the kids, to be fair to them, we were quite surprised. We thought they were going to be quite disengaged in the process, but actually they really, really enjoyed it.
They would, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, kids actually want to learn this kind of stuff, right? And so being able to provide that is just so awesome. So first of all, big round of applause, just because you're actually doing it already. Well, wait, we're not done. So let's imagine that suddenly you have here T-Bone who shows up, who says, look, I'm already like a student, entrepreneur student, I'm looking to get some experience, but at the same time, I'm really passionate about actually already passing this information on to others. The best way to learn is to actually pass it on, right? So and he's like, I'm willing to give some time in to do this. And that allowed you to then actually have that extra support to even go out to more schools, see more of a success. and actually see T-Bone becoming a success as well. Would that be something that you'd be excited by?
We're on that pathway already. We work with Barclays Eagle Labs,
Yes.
and Barclays put a framework around entrepreneurs
Yes.
and that are coming out of universities, and we're very much embedded in that setup. And it's quite early days. We've been doing that now for 6 months.
Yes.
We've met some really interesting people, connected them to some fantastic businesses, and the aim is to help them move forward.
That's great. This is still you helping others. So what I'm doing here is shifting it around and saying, instead of you thinking, oh, I could also help T-Bone because he's just another student doing this, let's shift it around and saying, well, what if I was to help him, but in such a way that he's actually going to help me as well, right? So just follow me for this for a moment. Let's imagine that you guys decided to do something together, which is like, all right, let's just run another of these programs. T-Bone, you be project manager. We want to see how well you project manage it. Come to one of these other programs as well. But in the midst of that, you're going to have your own challenge in how you're growing your business. What would you say your biggest challenge is, which is stopping you from doubling the size of your current business?
I think it's finding the right talent.
Yes.
There are certain traits that you look for, especially when you're managing millions of pounds of people's money.
Yeah.
And there's this trust aspect, credibility, and that takes a long time to come out of the system.
How many principals do you have who are actually out there connecting directly with the wealthy clients that you have right now?
It's just myself.
It's just yourself right now?
But supported by a great team.
Okay, so you've got a team that's actually supporting you, but you're then connecting directly with each of those as you go. Do you think you have anyone in your team that's almost at the point where you feel they would be strong enough to also be at that same level where they've got their own relationships?
No, they're driven by and motivated by different things.
Okay, all right.
Children, family.
Right. So you're missing at the moment that one key person or that one person who actually can help support. If you had someone that actually had experience of being able to provide real great customer service to wealthy individuals, do you think you have already the customers or the brand that would actually then allow you to be able to grow the business? Do you have an issue with the marketing side, or is it that's not so much the issue, it's actually the delivery side?
I think the brand is strong. We've had that feedback from clients where they've engaged with us with quite sizable sums, and they've asked the question, have we got enough money?
Yeah.
So that was a good starting point.
Okay, so you could have more clients if you had the right person, right? Hands up who's actually already in the property industry or actually already managing investments at a high level. Already got some already, right? When you have an opportunity where someone already has got all this business coming your way, and by the way, let me just add another thing to it, right? There's the concept of it, but let's take one extra thing. If you had someone who actually could do this well, what would you think would be the potential earnings? Like we were saying earlier, in terms of what earnings can be passed on to the person who actually is the one there, which would allow you to still, make a good amount of money for the business, but would actually motivate that person to go, geez, I can make that much money if I'm actually doing a really good job and doing something meaningful as well. How much would it be roughly? Ballpark figure.
Starting 100,000 a year.
Okay, right. So somewhere around £100,000 a year, and then as you grow, it could be beyond that as well, right? And again, this is not about getting a job, right? It's about actually creating an opportunity which allows you to then get connected up with where the flow already is. So again, hands up. Who here already? The gentleman over there who already is in property and so on. So hold on here. I'm going to come over this side over here, and just for you to just share who you are and what you're doing right now. And your name is Michael, right? Yeah, so Michael, just give us a bit of an overview. What are you currently doing?
So I'm a property developer.
Okay.
I've been developing property for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And before that, I was in commercial finance and equity funding.
Great. Okay, awesome. So you're already doing your own thing.
Yeah.
How big is your portfolio right now?
So I have developed 80 apartments through London.
Okay.
I have a scheme in Northern Ireland, which is 100 houses. We've built and sold 30, with another 60 to build. And yeah, I'm dealing with wealthy individuals all the time.
So got the credibility, got the experience, already had doing that. Mainly using your own money, or do you have partners?
Partners.
Yeah. Okay. So you know how to bring partners together. What is it about what you heard from both Justin and also from people that actually goes, that's kind of an interesting opportunity?
I like the idea of the education with the youth and young people, and just I suppose the fact that I'm already working with very wealthy people and talking to them every day.
What do you think your biggest challenge is right now?
So some of the challenges I face are around uncertainty within the market, especially in the UK, and what's happening politically. But ultimately, though, what's happened very recently with the government and the stability that hopefully we'll have over the next 3 or 4 years has meant that the market seems to be a much more of a positive outlook, and a bit more confidence has come back into the market, surprisingly quickly as well.
By the way, I've got a question for you, Justin. What is it that you're seeing as to why people are actually investing in a place like Spain, given that there's all this uncertainty happening here? And is that actually affecting the investments there, or are you seeing it grow because of what's happening?
I think Spain's a lifestyle choice for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They want a different pace of life. not necessarily motivated by the same things that we would see in the UK. They want a better lifestyle, an outdoor lifestyle, a lifestyle where they're mixing with people all the time. They're not so driven by the financials of that. They're more driven by making sure that they can sustain themselves in retirement.
If you had an opportunity to be learning about some new areas, you had a chance to actually be putting some of your time, doesn't have to be all of it, but someone to say, let's try if there's a way to actually grow this. And let's imagine it was more than that. You actually had a chance with someone like T-Bone to say, look, I'm a student, right? But I'm actually willing to be your wingman on this. I'll actually put the legwork in to actually learn about what you guys are doing, how you're doing it. You're not actually having to be spending all your time on it yourself, but you've got someone helping to lead it. You're seeing him grow in what he's doing. You actually, at the same time, can actually be then being of value and actually then connecting to a whole new group of people outside of what you're doing right now. Would that be something that would be exciting to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. And the key thing, all of this, is that if you would, and by the way, you guys should definitely connect today, because this is how immediately flow starts. It's not about creating the content, which is what's inside, it's creating the context, which is the connections between each other. And the fact that if it wasn't for T-Bone having standing up and saying, I'm a student and I'm even just trying to figure out how to get started, you wouldn't even have a situation where Michael could be connecting with Justin, where it solves Justin's problem, which is like, I just need someone at a high level who can actually work with me because I don't have it in my team right now, which allows Michael to think, hey, I just want to have a more of a broader context than just what I'm doing right now here in the UK. Everyone wins, right? And it could be too easy for someone like T-Bone to say, I'm not ready for that. I'm just starting off. I need people to be of value to me. It's the other way around. Like, you're already of value to others, right? Because where people have money but not time, you've got the time but not the money, right? And this is not about how do I actually go out and do my own thing. It's how do I actually go out and help other people do their thing better. Does that make sense? T-Bone will make a lot more money by helping them make money than he'll make trying to figure out how to make money on his own, right? Like, he's creating more of a river off their rivers, and they themselves are growing their own rivers from what they're doing, and it all comes down to partnering upwards, where of course they're going to be of help to T-Bone, and at the end of the day, the people that are really going to thank you are going to be those extra kids that are actually going through those programs. But the whole thing then links together because there's something which is more purposeful than just making the money, which is actually making it work. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, does that sound good to you, T-Bone? You look super excited by that. Do you want to get a mic for a second? Because I'd love to hear just your reaction to this. It might be something where you're thinking, oh, but I have a fear about this, or I'm worried about what would be the thing that would stop you from actually taking action with these two gentlemen?
Got a bit of a plot twist. I'm actually working with David. He's given me that opportunity a few months ago. So.
Dave, the one who put his hand up first to say, David. So how did this happen? How do you know T-Bone? And what happened here? What did you do?
So we met, I published a book last year and I did a book launch event at Pearson College. And he wasn't there, but he heard about it through some friends.
Okay.
And then Pearson College invited me to come to one of their industry days to be a speaker.
Yes.
And Thibaut introduced me to all of the students and we connected from there. And he came to an event that I was running at the London Stock Exchange in November, and I brought him onto my team in January.
Is he full time right now?
No, he works 2 days a week for me. And
2 days a week. Is this already? Well, first of all, round of applause that he's actually done that. And you mentioned earlier, right? You're already doing all these acquisitions. You already have all these different. And so, what is he doing for you right now in this?
A lot of research work.
Yes.
So I'm working right now on 2 projects. I'm working with a technology company to raise 10 million.
Yes.
And I'm working with a fashion business that wants to sell.
Right.
And so he's doing a lot of the research work for me.
Right. Now that you've heard exactly what you first of all what Justin's doing and the whole thing of what's happening, the whole thing about like what's going on with like the kids and so on, and also like just the direction and the connections that are happening.
UN Global Goal 4.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Like, what is it about like what you heard there that gets you excited?
Education for children. My wife's a teacher. Both of my daughters are teachers. I had some breaks in life because of some amazing teachers that I've had, and that's where I want to give back.
So if at this point you now had a new opportunity coming your way, where you've actually got basically T-Bone saying, look, this is a great opportunity here. Can I be part of this as well? Would you say, hey, I could give up some of the 2 days I've got with you to actually like see how this goes? Oh yes, right? So this is the thing as well. And by the way, this doesn't always happen in the job, right? Sometimes in the job they don't want you to go somewhere else. But when you're in an entrepreneurial focus, you'll find anyone who's already got to a certain level of success is that they know they got there by sharing it. They got there by, which is exactly what's happening here as well. So it's a very plot twist, but it actually adds even more because you obviously are going to Pearson's because you are sharing your story, right? You're actually guiding others as well. what better story than this to actually be sharing and saying, hey, here's what happened when one of your students actually came to me, and now look what that person's doing.
Yeah.
And they're actually now leading themselves way beyond even just them coming and working with you right now.
Can I just throw one of the things
Sure.
into the twist? So the event that I was talking about, we ran an event at the London Stock Exchange called Funding Focus, and it's all about addressing the inequalities that female entrepreneurs face when raising capital, because it's absolutely scandalous.
So one thing will always lead to another thing. Definitely you guys should all connect up. But really I hope just what we've gone through here, you get, if as long as you're focusing on your one idea, right, then you're gonna get sunk. But the moment you get connected to where already the flow is, then the flow adds to so much more flow. And every one of us is a catalyst to the flow that already exists between other people here in this room as well. So can we please give all four of them a big round of applause, first of all. Thank you guys. So just take a moment and just share with the person next to you, what was the big thing that came out of you, just out of that entire conversation, right? Like have a conversation and share what was your big insight. Go for it. And thank you for listening. You post below whatever's your biggest learning that came out of that whole session. The key steps on how you start from zero is about how you connect with others and ensure that you're being of value to them as well. Post a comment below, subscribe, and we will catch up with you on our next video.